Hello, everyone. Now we'll continue our journey. Welcome to Jiangxi, the second stop of our triple counter tour in Jiangxi. So, why is Jiangxi chosen as the next one? Do you recall the three colorful features of our tour? A growing home, a red cradle, and a splendid culture with distinct local flavors. And Jiangxi happens to be such a city that perfectly shows all three colorful features. First of all, Jiangxi is green. It is located in the middle of Jiangxi province and the middle reaches of the Ganjiang River, covering an area of 25,300 square kilometers, of which 51% are mountainous areas and 23 are hilly areas. There are 5 national forest parks and 2 national parks, making it an ecological garden city and thus a green home. Secondly, Jiangxi is red. It is the cradle of Jiangxi spirit. In the 1920s, the older generation of veteran revolutionaries such as Mao Zedong and Zhu De established the first rural revolutionary base area, the Jiangxi Revolutionary Base Area. Jingang Mountain gave birth to 5 founding marshals, 4 senior generals, and 15 generals of the People's Republic of China. In the brutal battle years, the brave and tenacious people of Jiangxi sacrificed their precious lives for the Chinese Revolution. More than 50,000 registered martyrs were from Jiangxi, and 147 generals were awarded when the People's Republic of China was founded, accounting for nearly 10% of the country's total. So it won't be a surprise when you find out there are more than 780 revolutionary sites here. At last, but not least, Jiangxi's culture enjoys a high reputation in Chinese history. The local culture here definitely deserves the compliment of excellence. It is a place where countless renowned talents were born. To understand why Jiangxi is worth such a high price, we need to first learn a bit about the Chinese Imperial Examination System. It is a civil service examination system which was open to all literati, regardless of age or family background. Score was the only criterion for selecting the capable candidates. Those who passed the highest level imperial examination were honored as 进士 or imperial scholar. The imperial examination system is complicated, yet one thing is known for sure. It is very difficult to become a 进士. By the way, the imperial examination system had a great influence on the Chinese by motivating them to study hard, take exams, and fulfill their pursuits. So even today, the Chinese still value education and examinations a lot. In the history of Jian, there were altogether 52 Zhuangyuan who came first in the highest imperial examination, Bangyan, second place candidates, and Tanhua, third place candidates, and nearly 3,000 Jiangxi, accounting for 3.3% of all Jiangxi during the 1,300 years of the imperial examination system in Chinese history. And this achievement ranks Jian the first in China. In addition, 21 prime ministers were born here, as well as several heavyweights in Chinese history, like Jiangxi, one of the 8 great masters of the Tang and the Song dynasties, and the great national hero and poet Wen Tianxiang. Their works were selected into Chinese textbooks from elementary level to university. This is Jian, and it is green, red, and local color. Of all the scenic areas in Jian, Jinggang Mountain is a must-visit place. Jinggang Mountain, located on the border of Hunan and Jiangxi, 352 kilometers southwest of Lancang, combines revolutionary cultural relics and beautiful natural scenery. It is the place where revolutionary monuments and magnificent rivers and majestic mountains complement each other. In China, Jinggang Mountain is one of the most well-known mountains. Every year, a constant stream of visitors comes to this place. Of course, for the good ecological environment and a beautiful natural scenery. Yet, a more important reason for their visits is that Jinggangshan Mountain was the place where China's first rural revolutionary base was established, where many early leaders of the Chinese Communist Party worked and fought. Let's take a peek into that glorious period of history. In 1927, Mao Zedong led the Chinese Revolutionary Army of Workers and Peasants that partook the autumn harvest uprising to Jinggangshan. After months of hard work, the Jinggangshan Revolutionary Base Area was initially established. Remember the question I asked about where the army that fought in the uprising went when we visit the August 1st Uprising Memorial Museum? Following the original plan, the uprising troops headed towards Guangdong. However, during the march, the main force suffered defeat. Under the leadership of Zhu De and Chen Yi, the remaining troops moved to the borders of Fujian, Guangdong, Jiangxi, and Hunan, and arrived in Jinggangshan, where they were joined by troops led by Mao Zedong in April 1928. In December of that year, another veteran revolutionary, Peng Dehuai, led his troops to Jinggangshan, making the military strength here further strengthened. Those troops are called the Chinese Red Army of Workers and Peasants, some leaders of which, for example, Mao Zedong, later became the head of state of PRC. And as for Zhu De, Peng Dehuai, and Chen Yi, they all became the founding marshals. The establishment of the Jinggang revolutionary base occupies an extremely important position in the history of the Chinese Revolution, as it was the beginning of the road taken by the Chinese revolutionary to establishing rural bases and encircling the cities from the rural areas, then to the final complete victory. Today, Jinggang Mountain has already become a well-known tourist attraction. In 1982, it got listed in the first batch of national-level key scenic areas. In 1991, it was named one of the top 40 tourist attractions in China. It is also one of the 100 national patriotic education demonstration bases and of the top 10 national excellent social education bases. The scenic area has a subtropical monsoon climate with distinct and pleasant four seasons. There is no heat wave in summer and no severe cold in winter. It is a famous summer resort with rich in flora and fauna and a natural oxygen bar because of the fresh air and high oxygen content. There are more than 60 scenic spots in the entire scenic area and over 320 landscapes, which can be divided into 8 categories, namely peak, rock, waterfall, climate, karst cave, hot spring, rare animals and plants, and mountainous village. There are also 29 well-maintained revolutionary sites representing the Jiangxi struggle period, 10 of which are listed as key cultural relic sites under national protection. In the center of the scenic area, there is a garden town called Ciping, which is located among the mountains, completely facilitated with hotels and restaurants. The coaches departing from here go to all major scenic spots, which is an ideal transfer hub for the tourists. From here, we can go to Jiangxi checkpoint site, Wuzhifeng Peak, Longtan Waterfall, Jiangxi Revolution Museum, and other sites. Jiangxi checkpoint is located 17 kilometers northwest of Ciping town, a mountainous scenic spot combining beauty of humanity and natural scenery. The top of the mountain is 1,000 343 meters above sea level, with a very steep terrain and a constantly changing weather. A place where it is often covered with thick and white clouds. In August 30th, 1928, the Huangyangji War, in which Mao's guerrilla army would ambush the opposition nationalist troops, took place right here. The then outpost fortifications and Red Army barracks built here during that war period have been well preserved till today. Here, you can also enjoy the stunning view of sunrise, peaks, sea of clouds. Rhododendron is a kind of flower and also the provincial flower of Jiangxi, and other natural beauties. Wuzhifeng is the main peak of Jinggang Mountain. The peak is shaped like 5 outstretched fingers, hence the name. It is considered the most beautiful theory on the Jinggang Mountain. There is low road to climb up, and the unspoiled virgin forest on the peak has almost no traces of human beings. Therefore, it is home to rare animal species, including macaques, sambars, and yellow-bellied pheasants. Visitors can go to the opposite observation deck, where they get to appreciate its majestic appearance. Longtan is located in the north of Jinggang Mountain, with many waterfalls, presenting a spectacular view for the tourists. The Jinggangshan Revolutionary Museum, built here, is the best place to learn about the history of Jinggangshan Revolution. All in all, when traveling in Jinggang Mountain, we can not only walk among the green mountains and lucid rivers, enjoy various forms of natural scenery, but also walk through the museum and various revolutionary sites to learn historical knowledge and experience the hardships the revolutionaries had encountered in the past years. Of course, there is also a variety of delicacies and local specialties that you could purchase, such as the famous Jinggangshan mushrooms, bamboo shoots, and high mountainous rice. What's more, you could taste delicious local dishes and buy local crafts, such as bamboo carvings and lute carvings here. Take your time to enjoy the trip. Have fun. After the trip to Jinggang Mountain, the cradle of the Chinese Revolution, we will go to Ruijin, the cradle of the Republic. Ruijin is about 300 kilometers away from Jinggang Mountain, which is around 4 hours of driving. However, many years ago, when Mao Zedong, Zhu De, and other revolutionaries left Jiangxi and came to Ruijin. The road on which they checked back then was much more difficult compared to that now. After the Jiangxi Revolutionary Base Area was established, the Chinese Communists successively established revolutionary base areas across the country, among which the Central Revolutionary Base Area, spanning the three provinces of Jiangxi, Fujian, and Guangdong, became the largest one, and the center of the revolution at that time. By September 1931, the total area of the Central Base Area had reached more than 50,000 square kilometers, with a population of more than 2.5 million. In November 1931, the Provisional Central Government of the Chinese Soviet Republic was announced in Ruijin, making a new red regime was born in the east of the world, and Mao Zedong became the chairman of the People's Committee. From then on, Chairman Mao has become a respectful name for him, used by the Chinese and the people around the world. Meanwhile, Zhu De was elected chairman of the Central Revolutionary Military Committee. In December, the leader of August 1st uprising, Zhou Enlai, became secretary of the Central Bureau of the Soviet area of the Communist Party of China. Since then, these three great men of modern China have supported each other and fought side by side for 46 years, until they passed away in succession in the year 1976. The Chinese Soviet Republic had its own flag, national anthem, national emblem, and currency. It was the predecessor of the People's Republic of China. The capital Ruijin, therefore, became the cradle of the PRC. It was also one of the starting points for the Red Army's long march. Today, the PRC Cradle Scenic Area has been built in the Shazhouba town of Ruijin. It is a national patriotic education demonstration base, one of China's classic scenic spots for red tourism. Red tourism means tourist attraction related to Chinese revolutionary history, and a national 5A level tourist attraction. There are many revolutionary sites in Ruijin, the first and second generation leaders, as well as 9 out of the 10 founding marshals and 7 out of the 10 senior generals of the People's Republic of China, all once fought, worked, and lived in Ruijin. We can go to the old residences of Mao Zedong and Zhu De, the sites of the temporary central government, the central government auditorium, the Red Well, and other old places to get immersed in the history. Although more than 80 years have passed, the stories of those revolutionaries are still widely and frequently brought up here, such as the story of the famous Red Well. Red Well is located in Shazhouba, which at that time was a dry and water-short place. Not only was there low water to irrigate the fields, but drinking water was also a very difficult issue for the locals. In September 1933, Mao Zedong, chairman of the central government, led the locals to dig a well about 5 meters deep here. To make the well water clearer, Chairman Mao personally went down to the bottom of the well to lay sand and stone and pat charcoal. After Chairman Mao set an example by making real action, a boom in digging wells started. The people of Shazhouba have ended their history of drinking dirty pond water and been drinking clear and sweet well water ever since then. In 1950, the people of Shazhouba repaired the well and named it Red Well. At the same time, a monument was erected next to the well, inscribed with the Chinese words, "Do not forget the well digger when drinking water. Always miss Chairman Mao." The story was selected into the Chinese textbook for elementary school students, compiled by the Ministry of Education of China. Ruijin is famous not only for its revolutionary history, but also for some very distinctive local foods, such as Ruijin rice wine, Ruijin fish balls, and Ruijin tea rice, etc. Among them, Ruijin tea rice, Lei Cha, is definitely worth a try. It is completely different from the common tea made with tea leaves, a unique food of Hakka people. A traditional rice dish accompanied by several sides of vegetables, toppings like sesame, peanuts, mung bean, soybean, tea, orange peel, etc. The whole thing is then ground, boiled, and drenched in tea soup. Lei Cha has a color of grayish-green and a unique flavor that is fragrant and slightly bitter. When drinking it, you need to add some sesame oil. So I'd like to suggest that you should be mentally ready for the taste that is one of its kind. Now, the journey of Ruijin is over. Through the trips to August 1st Uprising Memorial Museum, Jinggang Mountain and Ruijin, we have learned the early history of the Chinese Revolution on the spot, which helps us better understand why Jiangxi is called the Red Cradle, and the difficulties faced by the veteran revolutionaries in the early years, as well as their strong will. Okay, this is the end of the tour. Let's look forward to our future journey. See you soon.